Grace Martinson is here to talk to us about Washington students protesting mask mandates. Grace, thanks for doing this.
Yeah, thank you for
It's
having me.
yeah, no, this is something that has been in the headlines over the last couple of days, and I've been trying to find a student, so I really appreciate that you're willing to be the face, at least for my channel, of what's going on. So you are a junior at Deer Park High School,
Yes.
right? Okay.
Mhm.
And this is north of Spokane in Eastern Washington. And I guess why don't you tell me what's going on where you are, and then I'll show people some of the stuff that's happening around our state. But first, give us the update of what's happening at your school and what you're doing.
I know a lot of us are planning on walking out on Tuesday or just completely removing our masks. Just because we, who wants to wear a mask for 7+ hours a day? It's not fun. It kind of sucks. So, I know my school is planning on doing Tuesday, walking out, removing masks, just respectfully being respectful to our teachers and saying we're not putting them back on. So that's what we're planning. I know other schools are planning differently, or just other places in Washington are doing differently as well.
This is circulating around the news right now, and at many schools around the state. This is an article that was done about Ridgefield students, and so they're, it's a decent sized group, but I think that's a big school, and you go to a decent sized school. So tell me how much of the student population is participating? Like this, though not tiny, I bet is probably not the majority. Do you think the majority of students are participating in this, or does it still feel like this sort of small but mighty crowd?
I think a majority of students will be walking out. Probably half the school. A lot of people here have the same opinions and views as I do. So I think that the masks, in our opinion, and their opinion, they just don't like. They think it's unhealthy. So I definitely think probably like half the school will be walking out on Tuesday. And I really hope they do. I hope we make a point to our principal and just like the school board and what Inslee says and that kind of stuff. So I definitely think a huge majority of Deer Park High School will be walking out on Tuesday.
You were talking about your teachers supporting, or at least you think at least some, if not the majority of teachers, support what you're all doing. How do you know that? Have you been talking to teachers about the plans? How do you know that they support, or at least some of them support, what you all are planning to do?
A lot of them, I have mentioned it to a lot of them, and they have been like completely on board. They think, yeah, do it, go for it. That's a great idea. Another just like kind of like vibe that you get off of a teacher is just when I don't walk into class with a mask, they don't yell at me, or they wear their mask under their nose. Like it's just kind of that vibe that you kind of read, the same thing that you read in public with somebody in a mask.
What kinds of things have your teachers said to you about wearing masks? Do they sympathize with you but say we have to follow the rules? Or do they shame you for not wanting to wear one? Do any of them support the students protesting the mandates? You sort of already answered some of this, but any other thoughts on the other questions?
I have been threatened a bad grade from teachers when not wearing a mask. Same with a lot of kids. I've been sent down to the office for having it under my nose. So there are some teachers who are pretty strict about it, and like the comment said, some teachers do sympathize with you, but they say it's the rules. That's what we have to do. And a lot of them do support the protest. And I have been, like I said earlier, I have been shamed for not wearing a mask, but it doesn't get to me. I have no problem with not wearing a mask at all.
When you say, like, besides being disciplined, but like shamed, like verbally, what does that mean? They say to you, you don't care about other students, or you should, you're killing people. I mean, what does that mean?
Definitely, like, I don't care about my neighbor that's next to me, or how I don't care about the elderly at all that are passing away because of COVID. So I have been put in, like, it's kind of a horrible situation to tell somebody that you're killing other people. So that's probably the biggest thing, is that I'm hurting other people when I don't believe I am. So that's probably the biggest shame that I get.
Before we get to the rest of this video, don't forget, you don't have to wear a mask if you're eating or drinking, which is another great reason to go to AllisonWinePromo.com. Allison with 1L winepromo.com. You get 50% off of my favorite high-altitude Malbecs from Argentina. They use no filtering, no flavoring, no dyes, and no excess chemicals, and you get 50% off shipping. These are robust wines, one grown in a vineyard at 8,950 feet, and another one from the oldest vineyard in Argentina. Again, Allison with 1lwinepromo.com. But if you'd like a hot cup of coffee while you're headed outside to protest masks with the students, wherever you are, check out twinenginecoffee.com/Allison, twinenginecoffee.com/Allison. These are also high altitude coffee roasts. They have a wide variety of roasts. This is from Nicaragua, but they are USDA certified organic. And the founder and CEO of the company, a small family owned company, lives right there on site where they grow, harvest, and roast the beans. They also have a Katura tea, which is quite good. I like to cold brew mine for 24 hours. So whatever you're protesting, wherever you are, remember, if you're eating or drinking, especially if you're drinking Allison Wine Promo or twinenginecoffee.com/Allison, you don't have to wear a mask. It's another great reason to toast free speech. Okay, let's listen real fast to a little bit of what this student, Cade, we were talking about earlier, was saying that went bonkers online.
Everybody shut up! Pay attention. This is not an excuse for any of you freshmen and sophomores to disrespect your teachers. If I hear of anybody disrespecting teachers or staff tomorrow, that makes us look bad. We want this to be a peaceful, respectful movement. We are just trying to gain back our rights as citizens. We do not care about the teachers. In the end, are just doing their jobs. It doesn't come from them. It comes from the state. Now, what we're hoping is that they kick us out. This sounds bad, but we're hoping that they kick us out because they have to report that attendance to the state. And if the state sees a day where 100 or I don't even know how many kids are here are absent, they're going to start asking questions. Our hope is we can get this statewide. Now, I might get in trouble for this, but the plan still stands for Wednesday. For tomorrow, I mean. Everybody is going to meet at the back row of the senior parking lot, and we're all walking into the school with no mask on.
Okay, so do you guys have plans like that where you're going to meet up, or is it just like we're just going to show up? I'm just curious, like the level of organizing, and the only reason I'm really, trying to get to the bottom of that is how has this spread? Like, did this come from somewhere else and you guys are like hearing other students are doing it? Do you feel like this is bubbling up organically at each school? Is there somebody from other schools that's like, hey, Grace, we're doing this over in Southwestern Washington. You should do it too. Just curious the communication, I guess, that other students are having with each other and, just the level, I guess, of organization behind it.
If I'm being quite honest, I honestly heard it from one of my teachers, and I look up to her in so many ways. So I heard it from her, and probably that was yesterday, I think. So I honestly haven't known about it for too long, but we are planning for Tuesday, and so obviously there's a little plan to time to get it a little more organized. So I think when time comes, it'll be really organized, and I think that will get a lot of participation from those who have the same thoughts and views as I do. So to be quite honest with you, Alice, I haven't had much organizing to do, but it will be done tomorrow and over the weekend. Sorry, the lights.
Okay. Well, you look like you're in the witness protection program now officially for what you're about to do. So, but it's okay. Most people know what you look like at this point after watching for 11 minutes. So I always post ahead of time on my locals page for people to ask questions ahead of time. So there's some questions that came in for you.
Yeah.
Okay. So what took you so long? I've been waiting rather impatiently for youngins to step in.
That is a great question. I think that we've just been to the point where, we've been told our entire lives to respect others, respect what we've been told. So to be quite honest, I don't know what took us so long. That's a good question. But for me, I know that I don't want to be disrespectful to my teachers because, I look up to a lot of them in so many different ways. They've helped me with a lot. So personally, I think that's what I think, but I know it could be different for other people. But I'm glad that we're doing it now and finally stepping up.
All right. Did the mandates change their general view on school?
Yeah. Did the mandates change? Probably.
I think maybe like some ways it could change your view on school would be like authority. Do you used to be we like trusted adults to have our best interest or to know what they're talking about, and it seems like more and more, even if you're not like not just a kid, but even adults now are having a hard time with the institutional traditional authorities. We don't really have a lot of trust in the experts anymore. So maybe that's part of what that question was hinting at. Like, do you see school differently, teachers differently, authority differently, institutional knowledge differently? Has this made you question the world around you more?
Oh, yeah, 100%. 100%. I've had the question, why, what makes a mask so special? Or it's given me a completely different outlook on school. And I think it has with a lot of students. And, with being not in school when school first shut down, it was just absolutely horrible. I had nothing to do. It was super weird just not getting that face-to-face interaction with people. And I think you see that a lot in little kids nowadays with having a mask on all day and just, communicating with their teachers, seeing the smile. You see a lot more depression in kids and younger kids nowadays just because they don't have that interaction, which is just absolutely crazy. So yeah, I'd say it's given me a completely different outlook on school. And
this is just a short clip of a full video that has basically been sanitized so it can fly under the radar on YouTube. If you want to see the entire conversation that we had or the entirety of the commentary that you're watching, please go to one of my other platforms. One of the best places to go is AllisonMorrow.locals.com, where you can become part of my editorial board and pose questions ahead of time for interviews. I also do live editorial board meetings on Saturdays. You can bring your feedback and pose ideas for guests and topics for the week to come, and you get exclusive content. So go to AllisonMorrow.locals.com, but whatever you do, don't stay here on YouTube. If you want the full truth about what's happening around us, you gotta go somewhere else.